made.
They'll be ready the day after tomorrow. He's cleaning the tempers till the day after tomorrow.
And you definitely can guarantee they'll be ready, right? Look at this! Don't you think this new pattern machine's looking good? I think so. We'll have to invent some more patterns, of course. Look, you know, you could do cowboy boots with this pattern, right? Couldn't you?
Designs tonight, if you like.
Could you? You'd do some tonight? That would be excellent, yes.
On the paper, so we can feed it through.
Of course, that's right, yes. How does it work? I mean, where does the dye stay?
So up there, well, there's a dye tank up there, and the dye runs down into the printing block where it prints through, and it doesn't feed too much dye because if too much dye won't get through the felt strips.
And do you have to be very critical in your measurement of the dye?
Yes, because if you put too much in, it'll flood through or the tank will burst with the pressure.
And do we have to sort of run everything in black till that tank's empty, or can we change tanks?
You can change tanks because there's two
Very
spare tanks.
good. You've obviously studied it very well, very nice. What we'll need to know is how much it costs, you know, how much to price the shoes at, because, well, that machine's got to pay for itself.
I know that machine. There's no more laces for the Mr. Hanger's shoes.
Well, check in the storeroom and see if you can find some more laces. Are they special?
Yeah.
I see. Well, if they're special, then they'll be under his name, and if we haven't any, you'll have to order some.
Yes. Put the phone, somebody put the phone back down. Your shoes will be ready for tomorrow. What size would you like your daughter to have? Right. I'm going to find. Right.
Yes, the thing is, you see, whether it's...
Thank you, bye. Size 3.
You mean we could actually print them like red and blue?
Because
that's very
one
good.
of the spare tanks is like double-sided.
Excellent.
We haven't got any swords.
Oh, well, you deal with the designs then, thanks, and put those in the order room ready to go out. What's wrong with this?
We haven't got any swords from Mr. Duncan's shoes.
There's no soles at all?
They're not.
He's not going to like that, is
There
he?
might be some in the storeroom.
Have you been to stores?
I saw someone I went to the store.
A phone call? Look, you better have another check, Tracy.
that brought the samples.
Oh, what does he say?
Are these the laces for the stitches?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Well, I'm sorry I was out at lunch. Well, did you not leave anything at all? I mean, just coming in with bits of patterns like that, you know, it's not very helpful. Well, I don't know what they're for.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know you told him. He says he told you what this was for.
He did. He just said to get out of trouble. He's just said
No, he's not in any trouble, love. He just...
Well,
Nobody heard you when you said. Well, what is it for? He says he's going to come round.
Oh.
Well, look, you don't need 15 people to answer one phone call. Get back to your work. Good heavens. Oh, I'm not shouting at you, no. No, they're all interested in this white stuff. New invention. Well, it looks full of sort of white. Seems to be shedding a lot. My office is covered in it. Well, I'll have to ring off because there's a lot of work on. Right, okay, see you later. Right. You've been right through the stores. Well, then you'd better get on the phone, see exactly what we need, draw the size, and ring the firm up and get some sent in. Does anybody know how many boots a year, shoes a year? You know, this gentleman, it's Mr. Duncan. How many does he get through? 4. Well, you'll need enough, 4 pairs at least. Does he have... That's right, you'll need 8. But remember, we've got lefts and rights. Is he heavy on his feet? Does anybody know?
Yes, he needs a very thick small like this.
Yes. Well, you better check. How many millimetres thick is that?
3, 4, 5. 10.
Well, you can't just order about 5. You have to know properly. Have I finished?
Yes.
I'll give you a hand in a minute.
We're out of black.
Why are we suddenly out of everything? Who's supposed to order around here? You're supposed to tell Those are not the right length for what she needs for Mr. What is his name?
Mr. Watson.
Mr. Watson's boots. He has special boot laces. Now listen, let's get this straight. When you run out of anything, you come to the office and report it. That way, you see, I keep the thing flowing. Now, is there anything else? You better check on your benches what you're likely to need this week, and then we'll get it bought in. And you know, the way prices are going up, I'm wondering if we should go in for bulk buying, really. Can you deal with that, then? Who is it dealing with these? You are. Well, what sort? I mean, are we buying kid? What sort of leather do we need? You mean cow leather? Does anybody know how many sorts of leather we would have in the factory? Find myself. What sort of leather's this? Where's this come from? Do you know? Did they mention when you went to the shoe factory where they got the leather from?
No. I think he said something about Canada. They had them from...
Yeah, but where does it come from when it's in...
Animals.
Yes.
Horses, lambs, cows.
Well, he just said to come from Canada, and I asked what animal, but he said, well, you'll have to ask the man who I got them off, because he didn't know himself.
You mean he couldn't actually tell by feeling?
No.
Really?
But he should.
Well, maybe he should. Well, we'll have to know. So this is,
Looks like...
I presume this is cow leather. I don't know what you call cow leather.
It's very thick.
Shall we just call it cow leather or hide or...
Hide.
Thick hide. But this is very thin hide, isn't it? Well, that looks like composition. No, it's thick hide.
We could use this for the top.
Yeah, look, calf. It says calf there. So that might be calf.
Yes, just let us use it. It's different.
Well, we'll have to get hold of the right words when we're talking.
Mr. Anderson.
Yes, that's very soft, isn't it? That's like kid. It's sheep, isn't it? Lamb leather or something. Blue lamb, is it? Well, those are obviously for linings, aren't they?
There's no more buckles for the caliper.
Oh, I am tired of not having any buckles for the caliper.
Because Mrs.
Well, we can't just order indiscriminately. Go and find out when the last order was put in.
Mrs. Riley said that she already had a pair, but she keeps they're worn out within a week, and she keeps getting them.
Our kneecaps do not wear out in a week. I mean, this
Well,
was...
she said they do.
What's her name?
Mrs. Riley.
Who's been making kneecaps for Mrs. Riley?
Not me.
She didn't need them.
But
She does. She's got calipers, love. It's the Mrs. Riley with calipers we're on about. She's saying, she's complaining they're wearing out.
I'll go and have a look at. I think she had strong leather. Yeah.
Well, this is the model. We're supposed to match every time. Now, that wouldn't wear out in a week.
But once a week she
She's not kneeling down. Oh, she's falling a lot.
Yeah, she said she was falling a lot with them. She said she needs stronger leather, but
This is the strongest.
Just a minute. Is she falling because our boots are wrong?
No.
well, she didn't.
No.
She
No,
just said
she just said
Alright, let's go then.
she didn't really see why she kept falling. She just
Well,
said
if this is a new development, she may need her shoes redesigning. Get out the old design for her shoes and I'll have a word with her.
it's in the order thing. It's there. It's in here.
It's got so many.
And a chip and it's with the Queen and he's got to have some new shoes
It's going to Buckingham Palace.
by tomorrow. Except
Well, isn't he a special order?
no, he takes
Well-
a size 7 and he needs it by tomorrow.
Well, go in the stockroom and ring him up and say, as a special favour, we'll do it, but we can't... Well, of course, he doesn't go to see the Queen regularly, I suppose. He's got some special order, I think.
Mr. Duncan needs his for last week.
Well, look, well, you just have to get on and do it. There's rush jobs that have to be done.
Because he helped me get a new tank of printing dye.
Yeah, you'll have to go to the store cupboard. You need a hand. Can somebody help Samantha with this tank of printing dye? What colour are you loading it with? It's red, watch it. Right.
What do you want? Tell us a number.
Myself a cup of coffee. Do you think you can manage 2 minutes without me?
You interrupted me now.
We've not had vandals.
I don't... That's what I was saying. You hung up on it? Hello? Hello? Mr. Rita? Yes? You know that when you're going to see the Queen tomorrow, we can just do the shoes for a special favour.
Complain to? I'm the manager.
But we can't do them anymore in a day. But just since you're going to see the Queen, we'll be able to make it by tomorrow. Keith? Yes, we'll. When I'm coming down tomorrow?
Come in here.
Early. 8 o'clock.
You've been taking shoe leather out.
Right. 8 o'clock.
Are you telling
Right,
me we've
bye.
got vandals in the factory?
See you tomorrow.
My granddad would go mad if he thought we'd vandals in the factory. Now look, I am going to get a cup of coffee. I am going mad.
There's another 10 minutes left. Name the factory.
Oh, right. Thank you very much. Yes, I know. You're worried about it. Well, whilst you have your tea, I want a word with you all. So come on over here. I don't know. Who are you phoning? Oh. Right, bring your cups over here. We better not rub our working hours off, had we? Oh, that's properly written, isn't it? Well, we'll do it on here. Right. Can you just come round here? I've got a spoon if anybody needs it. Right. Can you just come round here, people? Can you just come round here? We're going to have a better system with that boiler, you know. It's been on all morning. Yeah. Now, look, I'm going to speak like... I know, it's nearly cold. I mean, it shouldn't be like that. We have to decide now, finally, on what we're going to call our factory. So now we'll just put Mrs. Heathcote, manager, to one side, and we'll decide what to call ourselves. Now, we know that we are a firm that has a long established tradition. And when you look at our notices, you realise we've taken a lot of trouble, don't you? I mean, our boots are not just any boots, they're hygienic boots, aren't they? And we've grown from a little factory to quite a big one, even though we're just one unit. We're doing, seems like the invalid boots, it seems to me, mostly, doesn't it? So what shall we call ourselves? So that people say, oh, I always get my special boots, or doctors say we always...
Well, we could have it in something in common with our school, like Broadley or Broadene.
Well, I'll write broad whilst you think about it in terms of shoes.
Broadley. You could have Broadie. Oh yeah, because there's a dean beside it.
Oh yes, and you get broad and narrow shoes, don't you? I might put "een" at the end then.
Yes.
Is that double E-N or E-Y-N-E or what? Let's try all the spellings. There's E-N-E, there's E-Y-N-E, Broadene, there's E-E-N, there's E-E-N-E, there's E-A-N.
It's E-N-E.
E-N-E. Broadene.
It could be I-N-E.
Now, what are we going to say after that? Is it Broadene and Son? I see. Broadene. Let's stand back and have a look. Broadene.
Broadene and Son.
Broadene and Son. Broadene and Son and Co. Broadene, Son. Son what? Broadene, sun and... Broadene, sun and leather. Broadene, sun and coal limited. Can you just come over here? We'll wash them up after. Broadene, sun and coal limited.
Yes. Broadene, sun and coal limited.
Now, I've done it in this writing, but, you know, you might prefer to do your sign in another one.
It's nice like that. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. Yes. Could we do what on?
Yes, I think you should. You'll have to do it at school, won't you? Does that look right?
Yes.
Very soothing writing like this. Have you ever tried writing in copper plate? Oh, it's ever so soothing. You know, you go up and down. You're supposed to go up light and down heavy, like that, you know.
Yes.
Now, are you going to make a sign to bring in next time?
Yes. Yes.
Well, let's stand this back and let's just see how it looks. Let's all come down there and have a look. When people go past our factory, they'll see the old sign. Broad. Just rub off those different spellings, would you? And then we... now, do you think we need some sort... No, that's right. Some sort of words that says something about how we do our shoes, like quality workmanship or proper leather. Yeah.
The best in the best in
The best in leatherware. What do you think?
The best in leatherware.
The best
in leatherware. The best in quality.
The best in Britain. Do you think we should have leather mentioned, then they know what we make?
Yes.
Broadene, Sun and Co. Limited. The best in leather.
In leather.
The best in leather life.
Yeah. The best in leather work.
The best in leather work.
Best in leather.
The best in leather.
Just the best in leather.
The best in leather. Just see it in your mind. I mean, it's going to be put on that red building there, isn't it? So that when people go past, they say, what's that place? And they say, that's Broadene, Sun and Company Limited. The best in leather.
The best in leatherware.
The best thing you can do if you didn't do.
In the company.
The best thing you could get your feet into. I hope they don't mean kicking it, though. No.
The best in leatherware. Yes. The best in
I think you probably need a bit more chat about that, and whatever you do, I'll use. Now, we've got a slight problem in that our family is called something else. But that doesn't mean to say the works can't be called this, does it? Because it's the family of what, is it? The family of Blackleys, and they made Broadene shoes. So they've got a limited company name. They make Broadene shoes. Broadene, Sun and Company Limited. Hey, if you want to have that name in as well, though, we can just put... See what you think about this. I'm just writing this one quickly. Blackley and Broadene.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Right, can you do the sign for next week?
Yes.
Right then. Now next week I shall have a fair number of problems. You know, when we come back, whenever we come back, I shall have a fair number of problems for you to get on with. All right. And when we meet again, we are looking at what it's like working all day, 8 hours a day. Right? Because you don't often see how people work, do you? No. All right. Well, I'll see you. When is it? It's on the 20th. See you on the morning of the 20th. And I hope we won't have any accidents then. Do say to her how sorry I was, because it must feel awful when he's sick, you know. Right. put your cups back. See you next time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll wash them up later. Oh yes, you leave them here. The BBC will look after them really carefully. And I shall do what managers do and sit in my office now whilst you buzz off once the factory bell's gone. Oh, I think you better, yes. If you can, you could. I would need names on next time. So maybe you make new names.
I'm just going to keep this one on. We should have different...
I think probably the best is bring a new one next time.
I think we could have made up different names.
Yeah, well, we'll leave these here.
We could make up
No, keep your own names, otherwise I shall get terribly confused. People don't work with other names. They work with their real names if they're not actors, don't they? Yeah. I mean, you don't have one name at work and another for your wife. You know, you wouldn't be called Mr. Bloggs at work and Mr. somebody else at home, otherwise the police would be after you, wouldn't they? Okay, then. I'll see you on Monday. A week on Monday or a fortnight on Monday or whenever it is. Thank you. It's a week, is it? I think it's more than a week, actually. Oh, yes, they'll be properly looked after. Do leave your cups. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yes, okay. Want to put your cups down? I found mine. Good. Then come round here and we'll just have a quick talk about what we're going to do. Just pop your cup down, David, and then we'll sort everything out. Oh, you've got a leather purse with you. Yes, good. Well now, thank you very much for wearing your names, and then I'll try and learn them as the time goes on. I just want to remind us first about that time we had a talk, you know, back in school, when we first discussed what it's like being a northerner. Do you remember?
Yes.
And we looked at that big picture that had all the bridges over the river. And then we looked at that cushion that looked like a patchwork of fields. Do you remember? And some of the things you said then that you were interested in. Can you remember any of them? It seems such a long time since, doesn't it, when we first thought it all up? Because you've done such a lot of work on it since. Some of the first things you said, I remember, were how is the microchip going to affect things, you know? And how is it going to affect how people work in the future? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Yes.
Does that remind you of anything else that we talked about?
The employment.
The unemployment, yes. And all the unemployment that's happening at the moment, you mean? And then somebody mentioned they were interested in history as well. Do you remember? One or two people. And fashion. And of course, when I heard all this, the problem of the microchip, and what will it be like for people like you at work when you're old enough to work? Well, you work now, of course, don't you, in school, but old enough to be an adult earning your living by your work. And that a bit of history and something about fashion, I well remember that was written down, and then the matter of unemployment. So, of course, as a result of that, I went away and I had a think. And I said, now, what would include all those? And I came up with our little boot and shoe factory, didn't I? And then I wrote to Miss Finlay about it. And of course now we are Blackley and Broadene. Doesn't it look nice? It's lovely. And of course we've got a history, and we've got our old museum figures there. And of course you've done all these machines and all this work since, which obviously will have to continue. I'm specially interested in the funny machines you've made, you know, like where you kill the cow and it ends up as a shoe, you know, because I think that's where we could do a lot of science. We could look at a lot of the scientific concepts you've got in your machinery, but we haven't had time to do anything about that yet, have we?
No.
You've done more on the history side because of going to York. Now, what I want us to do today is, we remember what hours we said we worked. Can you remember them?
Yeah.
After a lot of talk, yes.
7:30 to 4:30.
It was 7:30 to 4:30, and I think we were agreed on a lunch break, weren't we? But I can't remember just when that was going to happen.
We got 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock till 4:30.
1 o'clock till 4:30, we were going on a short lunch break so that we finished at 4:30. And it worked out at 40 hours or something like that, didn't it? I know we did the maths at the time. Right. Say that again.
48 hours, 50 minutes.
It worked out at 48 hours, 50 minutes at one stage, yes. Didn't we get it down, though, to a union rule or something?
40 hours. A lunch break and then we go down to half an hour.
I see. And did that cut us down to the right size in terms of hours a week? We'll have to work it out again, maybe. I've forgotten that bit. Anyway, what we're going to do today is get settled into work in the factory. And we're going to look at what is work like when you have to do it and you have an 8-hour shift and the work is going to be carrying your name. When it's finished, that'll be your work, won't it? And if it goes wrong, then it'll be something to do with how we've done the work in our factory, right? So let's decide what time of day we want to settle into our work. I mean, do you want our factory to start exactly at 7:30 in the morning when everybody comes in and gets settled? Or do you want it to be a bit later when everybody is settled? I don't mind. After everybody's got settled. How long do you reckon it takes a good workman to settle then?
About 5 minutes.
About 5 minutes. So it's 7:35 a.m. Agreed?
Yes.
Right. Put me the hands on the clock for 7:35, John, and then we'll be organised. Is it a bit high for you? Right. 7:35 precisely. Oh, that's a nice double handle. Right, 7:35, is it?
Yeah.
Right, so it's 7:35 precisely. All right. Do you want to stand over by that coffee urn? And I'll see it gets switched on, ready for our lunchtime. And then I'll be standing at 7:35 precisely with the day's jobs. By the way, what do you do between 7:30 and 7:35 then? I know what I did. I came in, I hung up my coat, I put my handbag there and my briefcase with all my weekend work in it. And so it took me 5 minutes to just check over everything there. What have you done in that 5 minutes, I wonder? Pardon?
Come in and put our cups down. Come in and put our cups down.
You've come in, put your cups down. Have you hung your coats anywhere or anything like that in this factory, would you say? That people have to have somewhere to put things, haven't they?
Yes.
So that they can get on with the work. All right, let's have our first staff conference. Come on in then. Morning. Morning. Had a nice weekend?
Yes.
Good. Right. I've been checking over these special jobs and I've done you out a job card because these are obviously important enough to have everything recorded. Who's dealing with that set of invalid boots? You got started on the design. Good. Well, you'll see there's a job description and any problems that arise. That's your work for the day then, Sarah. Can you just get yourself settled down and get stitching or whatever needs doing? You'll find the chairs, the cleaners put them over there, you know what she's like. Who's dealing with that money belt for the banker's clerk? Yes. Have you hit any snags with this? No problems? It's going to be a bit heavy. I think we should warn them about its weight. So give it a weigh sometime and we'll check what it's going to weigh. Which part are you stitching now? Have you got it cut out yet? Oh, right. You might need some strong cowhide for that. I'll see you in a minute. Who's dealing with this saddle for a knight's horse to fit that charger in that war museum? Oh, good. Right. I see you've got it designed. Have you got any of the sewing done or the leather cut out yet? No, right. Well, we'll see if we can get that finished this week. That'll be very nice. Who's dealing with that leather bucket for the Roman Museum? Actually, they've not specified how many buckets they need for Vindolanda. So later on in the day, we'll give them a ring and see how many. Have you got your leather patches ready? No. Are we using any genuine old leather? Yes. I'll tell you what, we'll go down into stock later on and see what we can find, because there must be some in my granddad's time, you know, bits we could use up. Did they say if they want it to look old or really be old? Ah, just look old, all right then. Who's doing the diver's hold all? Yes, right. There's been a phone call in to say, is it possible, you know, to duplicate these so they could have about 50 of them? It's a good order if we could. If we do this one prototype, do you think we could make a lot more exactly the same? Yes. Right, well, we make this prototype, they can take it up to the North Sea and then test it, and then we'll do some more. Who's doing this camel bag thing? Yes. You've stowed that gun very well, I think. It's just for the dangerous areas. Is he going to be able to get at his ammunition quickly, do you know, if he's in any trouble? Better check that when we put the pockets on, about the fasteners. Right, and we'll have to check out what sort of medicines doctors allow you to carry on camels. I don't really know. Who's doing this waterproof non-slip workman's boot, thick-soled for Seward? Is it you, David? Right. That looked very nice, yes. Now, oh, you put iron round the heel and toe. I think that's very good. Yes, good. Right, is it cut out yet? Right, get cutting. If you need any big, strong leather from stock, just let me know. Who's doing this pair of shoes for this very sick child? Yes.
We're not doing any for a sick child.
Pardon?
We're not doing anything for a sick
child. Oh, right. Was it for this invalid?
Was it?
Yes. Yes. Oh, it was the one that couldn't bend down to fasten laces.
Yes.
Yes, that's right. Yes, very nice. Well, let's find that then. I'll get you the job for that in a minute, the job card for it. How far have you got on? Have you got your lamb's wool?
No.
No, we might have to specially order it. And is it essentially it be blue?
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter about the colour? No, right. Now, these elf shoes, I think this is a new idea. I don't know whether they'll want more than 12 pairs. Have you decided what sort of material we need for these? Oh, we're using felt. Yes, yes, right. Right, well, you can get on with that then. Now, what are they? Oh, the elephant shoes. Yes, who's dealing with those? You, certainly. Is it two of you? No. Well, you have a big job on, because they want 4 elephant shoes, and then they want 2 extra sets. I mean, that's a lot of shoes. Never mind, are you happy with the design? Yes, yes. We'll have to decide. Oh, you're using good leather for the soles, yes, because they're going to have to walk a very long way. I don't know how far it is over the Alps, but you know. Well, now, who's doing the dog sleigh harness? Right. Have you had any problems with this? It's got to withstand a lot of cold, you know. So whatever has to fasten has to be easily negotiated, you know, with gloves on. Right, have you got jobs for today?
Yes, Lord.
Yes.
Harness.
Oh, the steeplejack harness. Yes, I've got that. I didn't realise it had been begun. Yes. Right, you'll need something to start designing with then, or have you not... You've begun the design and nobody's sent it in to me. Well, I had a word about that and they couldn't find it. Can you cope with another drawing? I'm sorry about that. You better have this table. Any other problems now?
Could I get another from the stock?
Yes. Take my key.
Thank
Right. Can you have a black pen? Certainly you can. And you'll find paper for your design here. Now then, how are you doing? When your designs are through, get started like that. And then we're all set. So we're still on, yes, a long piece of leather. There's somebody in stores now. People, can I just stop you a moment? We don't need to use this leather because this leather isn't suitable for the jobs, is it? This is kind of leather samples, you know. Come to the stores with me and I'll give you the leather you need. Right. Have you got the key? Thanks. Now then, you see, there's every thickness from the very, very thick down there to the very, very finest up there. Now, it's that sort of leather we need. Do you see what I mean? You need those other eyes, you know, the eyes of the mind. Right, and it'll be the eyes of the mind that we need all day today because we're working really carefully at making shoes. Right. Yes, well, you better check it out, look. There's plenty, and if you need to go into the big, deeper cupboard, just help yourself. The leather? It's all... Oh, the old leather. Now, we better go up to the attics, I think, for that. Does anybody know... Has anybody seen the attic key lately? Thanks. Does anybody else think they might want something from the attic? We're just going up to see if we can find some genuine old leather. Anybody might want anything? You might. Right. Well, the three of you could go up, couldn't you? I'll show you where it is, and then we'll just go up. Now, how shall we make the attic? Do you want to sort of go up some imaginary stairs? What sort of stairs shall we have? Round or square or landings or up a ladder or what?
Usually spiral.
They're usually round ones. We'll go up a spiral staircase. You can use the machine. Make sure the plug's safe. Shall we go up this spiral staircase up here then? Right. How high shall we make it? Tell you what, you go up first and tell me when to stop. There's the key. Then we get up to the top. We'll know you've arrived. Okay. I'm just going up the attic.
Can I phone Mr. Randall because he didn't say what kind of stones he wanted.
Right down there.
Oh, yeah, well, you'd better. Have you got a number for him?
I don't know.
Well, look it up in my index. Right, are you up there?
Yes.
Well, wait on for us. How many steps was it?
About 100.
It's a tall attic. Come on then, Neil, up we go. Right. Be opening up and then we'll get up there. I always said to my granddad, you know, when I was a kid, I used to like coming up here, but not any longer. How far more?
About another 10.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, well, I'll see.
Right. Well, I've been up here for years. Let's go in then. Right. Now then. This is where we really need our mind's eyes, isn't it? Yes, like you said, right junky.
I've got a torch.
Yes, I don't suppose there'd be electric light up here, would there? Now, you've got all this grey space that you could use as the attic. And it'd be fascinating to see what we find about the history of our firm up here whilst you're looking for the old leather. I'll just go back down. You'll be all right, won't you? Right. Find what you need. Don't lose the key, lads. How are you doing?
That he wants the very, very soft soles.
Yes. Yeah, well, he would. This isn't going to wear well, though, is it?
No.
Have you got this sample off my desk?
Yes.
Yes. I can't see this would do very well for soles. What do you think?
That's just because he needs soft things for his feet.
Is he going to go out?
No,
In
he
these?
said it's for around the house. Round the house.
And has his house got carpet or flagstones or what?
Carpet. It's very. It's this, the carpet that you sink into.
Yeah, sinking in carpet. Well, I don't know what quality this is. Do you know what number this is? I mean, is it very thin, extra thin?
Well, it's just thin.
Yeah.
You need to put water on it.
The thing is, we don't want him coming back complaining that we haven't made them strong enough, you know.
Yeah.
I think they'd wear out quickly on this.
Double layer on.
The trouble with double layer is if the outer layer wears quick, you know, he'll be saying, you know, he's only got one layer left. What do you think? This is for an invalid. He never goes out, but we're worried whether this would stand up to it. That's what I was wondering.
Well, out of stock, we'll leather. This is here.
You mean there's absolutely no 1854 leather left? Was there anything else up there that's usable?
Not really.
No. Oh well. Well, you just have to use modern leather. We have to find a way to darken it and make it look old. Can you get on with it? Okay.
What we're going to do with this
We're going to have a strong layer underneath and then put that on.
Well, we should have
This is a lining. Yes. For his feet. The actual contact with his feet. Yes. You might inquire what sort of socks he wears as well, you know, whether he wears
He
very
said they were very woolly, they were like toweling.
woolly toweling socks. Oh, well, as long as that's used for an inner, and you can check in stock for an outer. Yes.
There's no more long leather left.
No more long. How long did you want?
Oh, to the attic again.
32 metres.
Unless I use a few.
Is this for the dog sleigh harness?
But there isn't any more than. So I would have to use quite a lot of 6 metre.
Can you machine it together?
How but it wouldn't then it can't be enough because there's only 4 6 metre bits.
Well, I think you'd better just get onto the wholesaler and order what you think you need. What width of strapping are you doing for the dogs?
About 3 inches.
A 3-inch
3
strap?
inch for that main bit. And
Yes,
for those
3 inch
bits
for the
to-
chest harnesses.
3
How long are you making the actual, reins for the team driver?
Well,
I mean, not how long, how wide, 3 inch or?
no, they're just 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
It doesn't need them that thick, but it's the strong.
No, I should think they'd be
It's
strong.
really strong.
I mean, really, what you'd use for a horse would be strong enough, maybe, for a dog
And
team.
that's a really strong kind of leather as well.
Yes. Pardon? Well, I think as long as we know what we need, you could start cutting out, as long as you know what pieces you have to cut now. Is this going to go into the body? The money's going to go inside it, is it? Or is it going to hang on it outside? Try phoning for some of that. Look up the wholesaler and check what he's got in. And actually, he ought to bring it round if he can,
It's like it's going to be on the outside and it's going to be be a pattern sort of like thing.
Yes. You mean these are going to be patterned?
Yeah.
Yes. But when he's wearing it, it won't look like a money belt, will it? Otherwise, they'll rob him. Ah, it's just going to be embossed. Are you going to think of any colour? I mean, is it going to look like a cowboy belt?
It's just going to be like a normal belt,
But in fact, it can contain a lot of money. Yes, yes. You'll have to get your dimension. How big's a pound note? Does anybody know how big a pound note is? Yeah, you're going to have to get your pound note dimensions really accurate, aren't you? I'll see if I've got a pound note in my purse and then we'll check that.
Are these the sides of the shoes okay?
Well, that feels all right to me. This is for the invalid.
Yes.
Well, that feels nice and flexible, doesn't it? Yes. Well, now, you better measure it. You'll need a micrometer, won't you, to check exactly how thick it is. Mic it out and put on your job sheet just what thickness you're using.
Do you want any limited price?
Any limited price? I think you better find get all his prices from his best to his not so good. I think for this dog team we'd better have the best. But tell him what it's for and then he could make a judge as well as us.
Is this Cameron's bag all right to see?
Yes. Now, you've got it cut out, have you? Yes. No, I think it'll need hand stitching. I think this is going to have to be hand stitched. You've got the sort of two pieces together. Now, what we need is to get these pockets on, isn't it? Are you ready for sewing on your pockets? 3mm. You've done it on the micrometer, have you? Right. Yeah, put it on your job sheet. Have you not got a job sheet for that yet? I'll see you get one in a minute. Yes, now, you've got this, which bit have you stitched? This part here? Right. Now we better get all these pockets cut out and get them put on. And when you've cut them out, lay them on and I'll come and have a look at them and we'll fit the water bottle in and some ammunition and such. Does anybody know where I could hire a bit of ammunition or something to test it for size?
Johnson's down the road, they sell quite good guns and...
I'll go and phone them.
Well, he can deal with it. He's dealing with the camel bag. I think we've got to check the size of things, don't you? But they're not going to like it if you just phone up for a gun and ammunition. I think you better go down and explain. Or maybe take the saddlebag down and the cutout. What do you think? Do they just let you have guns if you want to buy them? I mean, we don't really want to buy one.
You have to see what you want it for. You can hire one. Does he need to hire one or buy one?
Well, all we need is to know how big the gun is that has to go in this camel bag. You see, I don't really know. Does it say who ordered these? Are they for a film or are they... No, it's for a definite explorer, you see. Well, he's going to need a proper gun, but I don't know what sort of guns they use.
If you go down and take the bag and then just... Because he can decide which one.
If you tell them what film you're from, you just let it go in the bag.
As long as they know you're Blackley and Broadene, you know, you'll be all right. The thing is, I really don't want firearms on this premises, you know. Sort out the sizes you think. Make a note of the sizes you think they'll need, and then we'll have another talk about it. Well, you don't need to colour it, do you? Because you're ready for cutting it out now. Have they said how big this fella is that has to travel on public transport with money?
No.
Well, look, I'll tell you what. Ring Barclays Bank and ask them what size of belt. I suppose we could work it out. Does anybody know what's a good average size for a grown man to have a belt? You know, for this money belt for Barclays Courier. 28 inches waist.
The cutting machine's
What?
not cutting very well.
No, I'll see to that. Well, cut it by hand. 32. What's your waist sizes?
My dad makes the 40.
Your dad's waist the 40. Well, then we need at least a 40. I mean, is he a good average man size? Well, then I think make it 48 or something like that till we can check. Well, you can always make plenty of holes in so that you... Oh, you're not making it. Where is she? Yes. Well, if your dad's a 40, you need it longer than that because you've got to thread it through, haven't you?
Come on.
And they'll need to send a fairly big fella because I believe coins weigh a fair amount.
Can I go upstairs and get the new blade for the cutting machine?
Yes. That's up to you. You don't need to ask.
It's a metre wide. And it's
Metre wide. Yeah.
60 metres long. And it's like a big roll and that's 42 pounds.
That's very reasonable. Can you send it up today? Can you cut it to size?
Yes.
Right.
You can have it here by Tuesday.
By tomorrow. If we go down for it, could he have it? If we went down at lunchtime?
He says if you come down sometime this afternoon or during lunchtime or something.
Can you get on with the leather we've got at the moment then? Tell him to send it up for tomorrow.
I'll start on the muzzle bit.
You can start on the muzzle bits, good. Right. Now, what were you asking? You'll need the leather to cut that out now.
I could colour in here and then make this longer.
Well, that's only the design, isn't it? So what we need now is you've got a good idea of the design. You know how long it needs to be. So all we need now is to go to the cutting machine, get the leather and cut it off. Okay? So bring that with you, get the leather, get the best hide you can find in the cupboard. And then we'll go to the cutting machine and we'll cut it off. How many centimetres width is it going to be? We need to check that pound note width, don't we? Hang on.
Cutting very wide.
Yeah, look, can you... Well, that's fine. So you can work on the machine. Now, can I help you before I go and help this lady?
They're going to have to be 5 inches by 10 inches.
That's a revolver type, is it? Is it a revolver they need in the desert? I mean, they'd only really need to shoot their dinner, wouldn't they, really, I suppose? I don't know whether you use revolvers for shooting your dinner or what. Does anybody know? Does anybody know what sort of guns you use for hunting your meal? You know, this is desert. This is desert travel, a double-barreled shotgun. Well, that's more than 7 inches long, isn't it?
That's about
10 inches?
Well, maybe we're just making a slot for the thing and it sticks out at the back, maybe, so you wouldn't hand-stitch across there. As long as that's wide enough for the shotgun stock. How wide's the shotgun stock? Well, you better test it out. You know, cut a shotgun stock out so you get the right size, and then we'll cut it in leather.
an SLR. Excuse me?
Well, you have a word with him if you know about
I
stocks.
finished the shoes.
Well, now you want to hand-stitch them. We're not having any of these rush jobs.
No.
Right, come on. Now, can you see any leather that you want in there, and then we'll take it to the cutting machine and cut it out? You see, there's the thickest at the bottom and the thinnest at the top.
Well, we need quite thick.
Oh, I think so, yes. Well, have a feel at it and see what you find, and then when you've got the quality and the colour you want, bring it over to the cutting machine and we'll deal with it.
Yeah, so you make it, we just put it on in.
Because it's going to be a hand sewing day. We're not taking shortcuts on invalid boots. Get your needle out, get your specs on if you need them, and get stitching. People, can I just stop you a minute? We're now getting to the stage where the designing we've done that can be done on paper so that you can put it outside of your head onto the tables has to now be got into the mind. So can you just find a chair at your workbench for a minute with whatever you're dealing with, and we'll just have a little working out this business of the mind. I'll bring my chair because I think I need a chair for this as well. Supposing you tell me something difficult to sew in leather, you know, like I might be doing a job. Invent a job for me like I invented jobs for you. Can you think of anything that's really difficult?
Heavy army boots, because you have to hand sew those.
Yes.
And they'd be hard.
Heavy army boots, right.
They'd be hard leather.
So well, suppose I've done my heavy army boot design just like you've done your heavy leather boots and designs for camels and dog harness. So I know now in my mind what it is I have to do. And a lot of you know exactly how it's going to be joined up because, of course, you've designed it carefully and properly, haven't you? So now I can sit back and I can say, well, if I'm going to make the lace holes first for my heavy army boot, what sort of a punch will I need? Now, of course, I haven't got a table like you have, so I'll have to put it down, and I might do some measuring so that I get it right. But all this is now in my mind. It's not on the paper. It's on the real leather in my mind. Do you see what I mean? So I'm going to make the holes, you see, and I'll know if it's very difficult, and I won't rush anything. And then when I've made the boots, the holes, you see, I might be ready then for stitching that bit to another bit. So then it's a case of finding the thread in my mind, isn't it? And I'm sure I wouldn't be able to break that heavy sewing thread for leather, would I? No. So I might have a cutter, you see, at the side. And then I'd have a look at all my needles and pick out, well, now, this is the best... with quite thick cowhide, I would think, for army boots, wouldn't you? So I want my cowhide needle, and then I can thread it, and then I can pick it up, and I can start sewing. And I can't hurry it, because every stitch has to hold. Remember, this is Blackley and Broadene boots. Do you see? Now, what I'd like you to do now is get to this second stage, where all this designing now comes into the mind. and we become makers of shoes and boots and dog harness and camel bags and elephant shoes, and we do the work. Can you manage? Right. So from now on, we don't need to use anything real. It's all there in front of us because we've designed it. That's what you did last week, isn't it? And we get onto it. And don't anybody come to me and say they've finished anything, because I won't believe you. I know how long it's going to take me to sew this army boot, and I'm going to finish them by about next Friday. Don't you think? All right, because remember, these are not our regular jobs. These are special jobs. I mean, you'll never get another chance to do a saddle for a war horse in a museum, because you don't hear of many needed, do you? I mean, they don't sell them in the high street, and I don't suppose we'll get many orders for dog harness teams. But it's a way of making trade, you see, with the shoe trade going off a bit. There's that many imported shoes, you know. All right, off you go then. So it's more and more hand stitching, careful work. Right. Now, what's this then? You've cut the leather out, have you? Are we going to cut it out? Right, come on. Where's the leather cutting machine? I've forgotten. Right. Can you set this machine up for Tracy? Now, what's the width you need for the belt?
Thing for the pound note yet.
Oh, yeah. Has anybody got a pound note on them? Now, I think for this we'll probably need a real one. Have you got a real one? Hang on and I'll see if I've got a real one. Because it's a real dimension we need, isn't it? I have an awful feeling I don't have a real pound note today.
Well, any note would do.
Yeah, any note, but I don't think I've even got a £10 note or a £5 note. Let me just see. I have a feeling I was just going to go to the bank today.
I think that's where the width of the pound note from there.
Is it? Yes, look, you see, I've only got tens. Oh, good. We've got a pound note. Great. Thank you. Right, let's see. Now, you'll have to check this. How wide's a pound note for... You have to set the leather cutting machine up. Can you set it up for her? And then return the pound note to the donor. Or the owner, I should say. Right. Is it strong cowhide you're using? Yeah. It'll have to be set up to the thickest. And you're doing a 48-inch,
yeah.
Are you?
You stuck the pound note back and
Have you checked both dimensions? You see, we need to know how long it is and how wide it is first. Right, well, why not let her check it and you set the machine up when she's ready? Maybe if you just draw around it for now, Tracy, and then we'll measure it. I'll take the leather over to the machine. Yes, there's a scrap pad there. Look, there's a small scrap pad here. And there's some pens there. And then we can get the dimensions in a minute when I get a ruler. Yes.
no, there's no leather left at all that I can finish.
There must be something we could get on with that harness. Well, I'll just have to invent some, won't I? Otherwise we'll be stuck. Now look, I'm leaving this leather. When Tracy's finished getting that pound note drawn round, will you just show her how to start it and then leave her to it? Right. Well, you could, if... OK, then, well, can you do that? People, can we work out what we do if, for example, Samantha has to nip off 2 miles to go and fetch some leather? What shall we do when we're sort of travelling 2 miles in our mind? Because she can't really leave the classroom, can she? So what would you... Drive it in your mind, or what do you think?
Sit and drive it in. If I went up
What do you think? Well, yeah, if she wanted to ride by horse, she's shaking her head. It's just what we do in our minds, you see, without leaving the classroom, so that we've got this journey. Because Samantha has really landed us, you see. We haven't any leather suitable for dog harness. What do you think?
She could ride a push bike.
There's lots of things she could actually ride, but in our classroom, you know, what could she ride? It's got to be in her mind, has it? Or are you going to go away somewhere? You could just go off and sit down for a couple of minutes and in your mind go and then come back with a bundle. All right, do that. That's the system. Right, are you... Oh, this is the one for the steeplejack harness. Yes, I'm sorry you had to do it again. These designs do get lost occasionally. Right, will this fit any steeplejack? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. And what's this hook made of?
Aluminium.
It's a strong aluminium hook, is it? And an aluminium strong enough to bear the weight of a man? Yes, yes. They haven't mentioned what sort of boots he'll be wearing, but I suppose he'll have sort of crampons on or something, will he? Right. Do you think aluminium's strong enough to hold a steeplejack up to a steeple? Yes, that's a very good idea, and then we'll measure the dimension. Now, I'm not sure if there are scissors. Hey, we're not having any arguments in our factory. Let's see if there's some scissors here, and if there aren't, then we'll cut it out later on. Tell you what, just set it up for now, and we'll cut it out. We'll cut it out later. Do you? Have you? Oh, dear. Where's the first aid box? There it is.
Where's the... Could I put it in there?
You better put it down in the accident book. Where's the what? I don't know. I'm not sure where it's gone. Does anybody know where the accident book got to? Honestly. You can't reach it. The first aid box, it's ridiculous. Who screwed this first aid box 8 foot high? I don't know. These architects. Right. What's a good place for a first aid box?
On the table.
Well, you know, it'll get full of coffee. You know what people are like. Right, screw it on the wall there and then help yourself. And put that in an accident book. Right, are you ready now for it to be put through the machine?
Yeah.
Right. Claire, does she know what to do now?
Yeah.
Right. Help yourself then. 48 inches long. Oh, we've actually got it cut. Come on then. How are you doing? Is this the steeplejack thing? Oh, the dog sleigh, yes, that's right. It's Samantha. She's just gone down to get some leather. Right, where's your workbench? Yeah. Here. Right. Right. Well, you know your leather width now. No, well, I'll tell you what. Mark it down there with the date and we'll check the accident book later on. I'm ever so sorry. We'd better keep the accident book in future. Oh, you're not done too badly. You're back early. Good. Well, can you manage it? The machine is set up for cutting. Samantha might need a hand with this big roll because it's a terrible width. Right, come on you. We've got to get this stitched. Sit you down at your bench. Now then, come on. Right, you hold that end. No, is that about right? Well, have a look at your drawing and check which end you're going to put the buckle. I'll go and fetch your drawing. Don't forget to put today's date and time. It's, how long have we been working? It was 7:35 when we started. Right, so it's about 8:05 then. Right, you're going to have to find out which end you're going to put this buckle. And we'll find the buckle and then you can get that stitched on first, okay? Right. Have a look in the buckle box to find a suitable buckle. How are you doing, Samantha? Yes. Yes, it's going through very nicely, though. Have you got it set up for the right width? Mm-hmm. And how many metres are you cutting off this, then?
I just need to cut off 3 strips.
What width?
One,
right, you get stitching that buckle on, then it'll be all right.
2-3 ones and 1.5 inch.
Well, when you've got it all cut up, you better stamp it, then we'll... Oh, we had, yes, any spares. I'll tell you what, put in my office, then you know.
Can I have some spare bits of leather?
Right, there's some in the attic, is there? I'll remember that.
Can I go downstairs because I'm going to get some best quality elastic? Oh, I was going to wear.
Oh, is that for that invalid
Yes,
boots?
for the invalid because you can't.
Yes.
Hasn't got any laces.
Yes. What colour are you going to go?
Grey.
Grey. Very nice to match the other. Right, yes, of course you
Should we
can.
go up and get the leather?
As long as it doesn't interfere with the job you're doing. No, how are you doing?
I'm making these invalid shoes.
Oh, yes. Have you got round to the stitching now?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Right.